Alright, today we are going to go over lines of symmetry. So a line of symmetry is basically, you can think about it as if you folded the shape over right at the line if it would be the same on both sides. So that's basically what a line of symmetry means. Okay, so different shapes have different lines of symmetry. But let's get through this and just look at these different shapes here, and we will see if they have lines of symmetry. So this first one, as we can see, the example, it says already no. So this shape would only have one line of symmetry. This is not it, because this is not a mirrored image of this, right? If this were a line of symmetry, the shape, at least if it was mirroring the top, it would look more like that, right? And if it was mirroring the bottom, it would look, these are not exact obviously, but it would look more like that. Now the only line of symmetry here would be right down the middle here, because if I folded it over right here, then it would be the same on both sides, right? So that is the only line of symmetry in this shape. Now, number one, let's look at this. If I folded this shape over right here, would it be the same on both sides? And the answer is yes, it would be. In fact, there is basically an infinite number of, I guess not infinite numbers of lines of symmetry, but in a perfect circle, any line that you draw through this middle, the middle point of the circle, will be a line of symmetry in a circle, right? So any line, I could draw this line, I could draw this line, I could draw this line. Any line that goes through the middle point of a circle is, if it's a perfect circle, it will be a line of symmetry. So you could theoretically draw almost an infinite number of lines, lines of symmetry in a circle. So yeah, this is a line of symmetry. Now let's look at this one. So sometimes you have to think about these, and you kind of have to visualize it. If you folded this over, would it be the same on both sides? Is this a mirror image with the line of symmetry? And for this one, it would be, right? If I folded this one over here, it would be exactly the same on both sides. Now, if I were to draw a line here, would that be a line of symmetry? And the answer is no. So this way would not work, but this way does work, because it would be the same on both sides. Now this one. If I were to fold this part over here, would it be a line of symmetry? And the answer is no. If this were a line of symmetry from the bottom, it would be kind of a diamond like that, right? If I were to fold this into this, then that would be a line of symmetry. It's not perfectly drawn, but you can see what I'm going for. And then on this side, if I were to do the top line of symmetry, it would be something like that. Obviously, that's a very poorly drawn top of a heart, but that is what the line of symmetry would be. Okay? And basically, that's one way to figure it out, is if you just mirror the image of it, right? You can be like, oh, well, if I folded that over and you just draw the mirror image, that's poorly drawn, but you would be like, oh, well, that's obviously not the line of symmetry, because if I folded this part in, it would be right there. This one, quite obviously, once again, not the line of symmetry. It would be like that. I'm not even going to attempt to draw the other part of the star if you were to fold it over. But clearly this is not a line of symmetry. If I were to draw a line of symmetry in a heart, it would just be straight down the middle. I don't think there are any other lines of symmetry for a heart. The star, let's see, I think if you draw from corner to corner, or so if I were to draw straight across, this would be a line of symmetry. I think technically that would also be a line of symmetry. And that, and that, and that. So, right, if I'm basically just splitting the star in half from point to the angle that is across from the point. So as long as it is like a perfectly drawn star, there should be, I guess, 5 lines of symmetry, right? One for each of the points of the star. I know they're not perfectly drawn, but you can kind of see, and you can kind of turn your head to see, oh yeah, okay. If you turn your head a bit, you can see that each of these should be a line of symmetry, as long as it's drawn properly. Right? Now for a square, like in this one appears to be a square. This is clearly not a line of symmetry because it's not in the middle. It has to be in the middle for it to be a line of symmetry. So in a square there are 4 lines of symmetry. Okay, this way and this way. So cutting it in half, both vertically and horizontally, and then diagonally. Now, a rectangle only has 2 lines of symmetry, because if you were to cut it like this, it is not the same. And you can test this by just taking a regular piece of paper. Pieces of paper are already cut into rectangles, and if you just try to fold it corner to corner, it does not work. So that's a brief overview of lines of symmetry. It's a bit tricky. You kind of have to visualize it. You know, if you're given a paper test, you might even try to literally fold the paper right at the line of symmetry and see what happens. But it's hard. You kind of just have to really visualize it and be able to think about it in a visual way to figure out if it's a line of symmetry. But hopefully that cleared some things up.